Welcome back to LittleLee and Rose. My name is Summer Noel, and today we're going to do a really fun cup. Now, this one's really elegant. It's pretty, it's a very popular seller. I've been just dying to get to this cup with you guys. So we've already got this one base painted and prepped. We've sanded and base painted it. This is base painted in the color peony. It's not quite white. As you can see, it's slightly off-white. It's like a tiny hint of pink, but or peach, I guess, or salmon, but very, very, very subtle. So what we're going to do is we are now going to hydro dip this cup. So I'm going to bring in our water. We've got our paint already set up, and we're going to jump in. The first thing we're going to do is just get the hydro dip paint onto this cup. All right, guys, here we go. All right, guys, so we've got the cup ready. We've got our bucket ready. We've got our paint set up. Now, remember, you want to do this in a really well-ventilated area. I have my workshop wide open with the fans going because you don't want to breathe in these paint chemicals. I've also got a particle mask on, not a chemical respirator, just a regular old particle mask on so I don't breathe this in. I'm giving the paints all one extra little shake because they've been sitting here for about 5 minutes or so. So I'm just going to give them a little jingle. We're kind of using Southwest themed colors. It's going to be real fun. I've got the cup on my hand ready to go. We're going to start with the spraying. Now, I'm not going to try to make a big marble swirl. We're going to do patches. It's going to naturally marble anyway. But you can see I'm just going to do circles. So that's the pale purple. So I'm basically just layering the colors into each other. And they will just naturally swirl around and do their thing. I don't want it to be too crazy swirly, so I'm just doing it very gentle. I mean, I'm not moving the water, anything extra. Okay, and sorry guys, I have the flu, so I'm a little funky today. But I love to do this, so we're working through the flu. All right, that's going to be super pretty. We're just going to dive this cup in. Now it's on my right hand. And I'm going to just put them in. So what we do, you do it at an angle, push through and twist as you go down, back and forth. Once you get under the water, you swirl and you bring it up. Oh, that's gorgeous. That's beautiful. Now, what I did, I'm going to walk back through what I did because it's important. But I can't talk as fast as I have to dip. So what I'm doing now is I'm blowing off all the extra water drops. If you've never seen me hydro dip, what you want to do, we'll move the water just off the camera. You want to go in an angle like this. The reason being is if you go straight down, you get an air pocket that's going to go whoop, and it's going to put air between your paint and your cup, and you're going to get these weird bubbles and rippled and wrinklies. So you go down at an angle, push it through and gently swirl, and that's going to give you these fun, like, kind of swirly swirls, just like that. All right? So now we're going to let this dry. We're not going to do anything more to this. We're just going to, well, I'll blow the more water off of it. You don't want the water spots to sit on there, so I'm going to blow the water off of it a little bit more. Then we're going to set it to dry. All right, guys? We'll be right back. All right, guys, here we go. We're going to get the cup spinning on our tumbler turner. I have my chemical respirator on. I have my nitrile gloves. We are going to mix a very, very small amount of epoxy, and we're going to basically do this like a hang method version, but without actually hanging the cup. We're going to let the cup rotate, and we're going to put a collar on this cup. It's going to be really, really, really pretty. So I'm basically just taking like a tiny bit of epoxy and mixing it into another tiny bit of epoxy. This is part A and part B. Epoxies will come separated like this with part A and part B. You've got to mix them together. You want to make sure you're using an FDA compliant resin. That means it doesn't have any chemicals in it that will be a problem for you making contact with your mouth or with food, because we put our mouths on our cups to drink. So we want to make sure you use FDA compliant. Now, LittleLee and Rose epoxy is all FDA compliant, guys. We are fully tested, VOC free, very fun. Okay, so now I'm just wiping off my stir stick,
Making sure that gets well stirred in there. All right, so now what I can do with my stir stick, it's a little silicone stir stick, again, found on our website, guys. Just pull it out and wipe it off with a paper towel. If you don't have to do that, guys, if you forget to take the silicone off the stick, just and it dries, you can just peel it off. This epoxy will not stick down to it. So now we're just going to take our epoxy and we're going to start kind of rubbing it in a very, very thin layer all over the cup. This is going to essentially be like a hang method. I've removed my pin from the turner, you guys, so I can manipulate the cup a little bit more. Otherwise, it would just be spinning really, really fast. Not really, really fast. Very dramatic there. It would just be spinning when I don't necessarily want it to be spinning. So I've got it. I've taken the pin out of the turner so that I can let it spin when I want, or I can push pressure on it and it will stop spinning. That way I just have a little bit of control. And now I'm doing it this way because you'll see in the next step, we're going to add glitter, and we're going to add it in a different way that you've seen me previously do with the hang method. So really, like I said, what we're doing here is we're just essentially making sure that there's a super thin layer of epoxy all the way around the cup, top to bottom. The very bottom of the cup doesn't matter. We can attend to that part of the cup at a different time when we're adding more layers of epoxy. What we're doing right now is just trying to seal this down, and we're going to add some glitter. All right, I think we're pretty good, and I do have extra epoxy left, so I'm going to go ahead and do the butt. If I didn't have enough epoxy, guys, I wouldn't worry about the butt because, like I said, it's going to get coated in all the other rounds of epoxy that we put on. All right, so now see, if I stop touching it, the cup will naturally go back to spinning, even though the pin's not in there. If I put the pin in, but I will definitely put the pin back in so that it doesn't accidentally stop moving overnight. All right, so you want to make sure you guys wear all your safety equipment when you're doing this. Work with your gloves, special gloves on, your chemical respirator. You do not want to give yourself some sort of really gnarly upper respiratory infection or a problem. So now we are going to work with Curtis and Bo. I'm going to mix them together in this little cup, and we're going to sprinkle him on. The reason I'm adding Bo is Curtis is a chunky mix, but I want a little bit more fine than what it comes in Curtis, so I'm going to add a little extra Bo just to add that little extra fine texture. But you can see with Curtis that Curtis does have fine mixed into him, just not as much as I really want here. So we're going to mix Curtis and Bo with my metal stir stick. We're going to mix it up. So that is Curtis and Bo mixed together. Now, if you want it to not have as much, not to be as fine, then you wouldn't add Bo. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my parchment paper down, and we're going to collect the extra glitter that falls off. All right, guys, we've got our paper down to catch our glitter. Now, I want to tell you guys the reason we only put a very, very thin layer down is because we don't want the glitter to move. And if we put too much epoxy down, it's thick and it's still mobile and it's moving around. And that will move our glitter around as it's spinning. Now, we don't want our glitter to move around. Where we want it to stay where we're putting it. That's why we do a very thin layer, like a hang method layer, so that it just sticks to that and it doesn't move around on the cup. All right, guys, so I'm going to take my cup and we're going to do a collar. We're just going to slowly let the cup spin, and I'm just going to slowly tap my mixture into the middle here. Now, this is an opalescent, so it will let that beautiful ombre show through the middle, show through it. Oops. See, and right there where it paused, that's because there's no pin. So I'm going to be putting the pin back in here. Forgot to add it. I'm just going to use a toothpick for now because that's what I got. Oops. Here we go. Okay, so that's going to hold it. So we're just going to keep tapping, tapping. This is what I call the collar, guys. You can do this with any color glitter. It's just going to be a collar around this upper part. I'm using this glitter because I do want that background to show. So I'm just putting on multiple layers, and anything that grabs, I'm hoping it just grabs and sticks. We're just letting it rotate a couple times. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted that beautiful white. You can see all that fun, beautiful opalescent color shift from Bow in there. So I'm going opposite way, this way, because I want to soften that upper line. I'm not letting it go completely to the top solid, but it's going pretty near close to the top. And what I'm doing now is, when I tap the cup like this, it comes out of the cup and does a natural ombre effect this way, but it's falling straight down here, and it was giving me a line this way. So I flip the cup over and I tap this way, and then it does the same thing, but it puts a few of the larger pieces out that way to do a little bit of ombreing up towards the top. So now it's slowly just shifted to where it's heavy in the middle, and it just kind of fades off the top and off the bottom. All right, guys, we're gonna let this cup roll overnight and cure up and get this glitter smashed down nice and tight. You can tap down and press the glitter to make sure those big chunky pieces lay down flat, so you get the maximum amount of sparkle out of there. Can you guys see the change in the sparkle when I'm laying these glitters down flat onto that epoxy? It just really makes that opalescent glitter pop. Perfect. All right, there we go. We're gonna let it go.
All right, guys, what you just saw was me put on a nice, thick, heavy coat of epoxy, and then I torched it to get all the micro bubbles out. When I say I torched it, this is what I used. It's just a kitchen torch. Now we're going to use our special patent, and we are going to put patent down in the middle, right in the middle of the collar. It's not going to make a huge difference. It's just going to add a little bit more white to the center. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to put it in a stream. I'm letting it fall off naturally as it goes around the turner. You can see as it's coming up, it doesn't make a huge difference. I am all about the small accents. So we're gonna do it twice. We're gonna go around it 2 times. All right, guys, we are back with this cup. It's beautiful. The collar is gorgeous. We've got the opalescence of Curtis around the edges, and then you got the beautiful Falcor down the middle. It looks absolutely gorgeous. So I want to tell you my little tips and tricks about working with foil vinyl, because I know foil vinyl can be the devil. You see I used rose gold and my purple foil. They're beautiful, they're amazing, but they're such a struggle to work with to get them perfect. So my little tip is I go to custom settings and I put it on the foil adhesive, and I put it on regular default setting. I don't do more pressure or less pressure. I've found that default setting is the perfect setting actually for it. And I cut it 3 times. Now, if you're in my Facebook group, you're laughing right now because you're like, that is not what her setup looks like. setup looked like just 10 minutes ago because I was just live in my group setting up for this tutorial, getting ready and laughing with my Facebook group. And we were troubleshooting some problems I was having on another cup. And I was talking to them about the foil there. But I decided, they didn't see this part. I decided to add this part to the bottom because in my Facebook group, they know what this cup is actually now going to be going for. And they, it's fun. So if you want to join a fun group, a community of tumbler makers that just, we're in there just we're a bunch of weirdos, dude. You get to know my life a little bit. I'm very real in there. I'm very raw. It's real fun. So come on over and join us and get to know us and just jump right in the water. We get crazy. We get loud. We have a lot of fun. But see right there, see how easy that was? Brink. If that is what cutting foil, I pick custom settings, foil adhesive or adhesive foil or however it's written, and I cut it 3 times. Now, I want to make sure that you guys understand what I mean when I say cut it 3 times. When I say cut it 3 times, I mean you push the cut button 3 times. So you'll cut it and then don't push the unload button. So don't push the arrow button. That's if you're a Cricut. This is for Cricut. I work on a Cricut, guys. So don't unload it with the button, the unload button. Just leave it and push the Cricut button to cut again and let it cut, then again, and then let it cut and then push it one more time. So do that 3 times. If you unload the Cricut and reload the Cricut, it won't be on the exact same lines. But if you leave it loaded, instead of spitting it out after the first cut, you leave it loaded and just keep pushing that cut button for each time and do it 3 times and you get a nice, clean, easy removal. It makes it a lot easier. This is going to be my little sneak peek on the bottom because I have triplet girls. So now we're going to go ahead and put on the decals. Sorry, I'm going to take a drink here real quick. If you are one of my Facebook members, you know I'm drinking Sprite, trying to put on weight. Sorry if you hear my children in the background. I do have triplets, and they're apparently really mad at their daddy right now. I don't know why. All right, this is going to go right here. I want this to be right up on the edge. They're probably mad at their daddy because, you know, like the wind blew or something. That's welcome to life with 3-year-olds. So we're going to rub this down really, really well. I don't always get time to film when they're napping, doing a million things. So sorry, guys, you get my kids in the background once in a while. It's triplet mom life. Oh, and if you're noticing my nails, yes, that's a tutorial. You can go watch that on my channel. And we did this. I wanted to do this on a cup, but I was running out of time. So I did it on my nails. We did an ombre, and we sell this as a kit, an ombre kit. You can buy this full kit, but it sells out real quick, and then we got to restock. So sorry if it's not there when you go to check, but hope it's sticking really hard. Come on. Lay down. There we go. So I wasn't originally making this as a personal cup, but I decided to make it as a personal cup for myself because I kind of ended up loving it. And it is perfect for me and my life right now. So we're gonna see, you see those pieces that are sticking? That's just because they're sticking to the vinyl. I'm gonna rub them down real well with my hands. I save everything because that piece of transfer tape will work over and over and over again. So I just put it off to the side. We're gonna push down. Where's my felt tipped? This is just like a little card I use. It's got felt so it won't scratch the vinyl. You could just make a cheapy one of these out of like some cardboard and a piece of felt. Don't need to. This one happened to come with some, I ordered a big order of vinyl and they just sent it with the vinyl. And so I use it. It's great, but you don't need to go buy one. You can just put a little piece of felt on something firm. We're just going to make sure that stays down. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to do the second one. We've got the beautiful. So beautiful is going to go right in the middle. Same thing with this one, you guys. I put it on the custom foil setting. Oops, that little heart I want actually to go somewhere else. So I'm going to cut the heart. The heart is meant to go in a different spot. So I'm going to cut him off. Oop. Save him from later. And we're going to try to remember exactly where this was lined up. I think it was right here. I should have brought, so normally I would just bring the picture up on my computer and look exactly how I designed it and lay it down exactly that way. But I think I remember because I just cut this. And then it did lay down beautifully and perfect. It fit perfectly in there. So this little tool is pretty handy. And these nails are normally ridiculous. You guys don't normally see me with these big pointy nails, but I thought it would be fun to do for the, show you guys how to use our glitter in a more creative and different, and not more creative. This is stinking creative what we're doing now, but in other creative ways. So you can take your glitter that you get from us, LittleLee and Rose, and you can take it to your nail salon and they can do your nails with your own glitter. And what they, in the video, I show you how they, exactly how they do it. So you can even show it to your nail tech if they don't understand. And just say, watch this video. And bring your own bags of glitter of what you want ombre. There we go. Going down beautifully. All right. We're going to rub that. Push it down. Perfect. Yes, I touch my cup a lot. My LittleLee and Rose epoxy is amazing, and it will not matter anyway. It doesn't repel. There we go. So I wanted my little heart up there. I didn't want it down here. I wanted it up here. So now we're going to do the bottom one. We are going to grab these 3 hearts, tip this bad boy up on end, make sure we're right in the middle. Now we're going to work on the butt. So remember, guys, you don't have to do these colors. These are just my preference. This is what I chose. You can dip your cup in any color you want. Put any details you want on it. This is just to show you the technique to just doing the hydro dip with the glitter collar and then just having a lot of fun with it. So we're just finishing out the cup. Especially if you're a newbie and you haven't seen me work, you're kind of new to epoxy. This is just going to show you, you know, how to work with epoxy and different things and the little tips with the foil vinyls and stuff. If you have a hard time, I don't recommend Cricut vinyl. Newbies get really trapped into the Cricut vinyl because they think it's their transfer tape. It's really only meant for glitter vinyl. It's really, really, really tacky. It's like extra strong tack, and it will not release. So now I have my little girls right there. I should have put a letter in the middle. Oh well, I know what it's for. I know those are my girls. So I'm looking at matches my nails, purple. Do you think I like purple? Huh, I wonder. All right, so now this one is ready for the next line of epoxy. So I'm going to clean up this little mess that we got going here, set up, and we'll do the epoxy.
All right, guys, I'm back. I'm going to sound a little bit like Darth Vader. Got my chemical mask on. We have our epoxy mixer mixing that epoxy for me, so I don't even have to do it. I do want to share a little tip with you guys. Sorry, I've got a brand new mask on. And I'm adjusting it to my nose. I've broken my nose 3 times snowboarding and dirt biking and such things. So I have a sensitive nose. But with the vinyl, I forgot to mention that when I do this really, really shiny foil, I do a matte finish clear coat spray paint over the top. I should have brought the bottle over. Sorry about that, it's stinky. I do a I do matte finish over the top. That's going to help your epoxy grab that because it's such a smooth, slick surface that there's nothing really for the epoxy to hold on to. But if you put the matte finish over the top, it gives the epoxy something to hold on to. So this little machine right here is just mixing my epoxy. It's got a pin. It's doing its magical thing. You saw me weeding earlier. I get asked a lot what this is. This is a weeding tool. We have these on our website. And my weeding tweezers. And I just weed, I put it in, and you see all the vinyl that's in there. And then you can just open it up and take it out. It's really easy. So let's do this. Let's see. Still mixing. Doing its thing. All right. All right, so I had to jump off, jump back. I forgot my silicone brush. So we are now ready. The epoxy, you know it's ready when it's clear. This is just a little machine that I designed. You can get, I don't want to sound like sales pitch, but I know I get asked. So you can get this on our website, guys, LittleLeeandRose.com. I mixed a big batch. I'm doing multiple tutorials at once. I just cleaned, you could take the pin out and clean it with a baby wipe. I'm just going to go ahead and work with it. We're just going to pour this on. You can see there's very few bubbles because of how smooth that epoxy mixer rolls. You get very, very few to no bubbles. So it helps you out, especially if you're a beginner. But you see the color of the vinyl, even though it was dull, now it's popping right back to life with epoxy over the top. So all that matte finish spray paint does is really give it something to fuse onto so that you don't get fish eyes over your vinyl, because that foil vinyl is really, really slick, and sometimes the epoxy has a hard time grabbing on. So we just help it out, give it a little matte finish spray. You guys are going to hear some background noise today. We have been packing orders like crazy. Since we went free shipping on our whole website, you guys went crazy. It's awesome. We don't mind it. I don't think we were quite prepared for the response we were going to get with that, but we're very blessed. Oops, I just knocked our button right off. He's so pretty, he's got to go back. If you don't know what that button is, that means you're not in my Facebook group. So get in there. We have fun. You get a little behind the scenes touch. I just was live actually working on this cup and getting this ready for this tutorial live in my group, answering questions, talking to my peeps. We're a big group, but it feels like a small family. You can ask any questions you want. We're there to help educate you guys, especially about safety and making sure you're careful. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. We play a lot of games. We do a little chit-chatting. So there we go. We got a nice layer there. Let's start working on the bottom. We're going to just dab a little down there. Cover those hearts. I even sprayed the hearts, guys. I made sure I got the butt. Sprayed the hearts with the matte finish clear spray paint, so that the epoxy, and you can see the epoxy is not having any issue holding on to that. Just get it right here on the edge. It's not having any issue holding on to that foil, because that foil has that matte finish on it. All right, this might not even need a second coat over the vinyl. Ooh, fingers crossed, guys. We'll see. So when we torch this, we're going to have to be very, very careful, because this foil vinyl is very sensitive to the heat. So you got to move real fast if you're going to torch over the vinyl, which you do need to do, because you'll see those micro bubbles on that foil. Foil adhesive vinyl is not forgiving. But you have to move fast with the heat. I'm always trying to give you guys little tips and tricks that I know. All right, so I've got enough still for my next tutorial, so I'm just going to wipe off my silicone brush. I'm going to save this. I'm going to keep it rolling in my epoxy mixer. That's going to keep it from seizing up on me. And then we're going to grab the torch. We're going to go real fast over the vinyl. You do not want that vinyl to get too hot, because it will shrink and shrivel. And then once you get to the regular part, you can go a lot slower. A little slower, not a lot slower. So basically what we're doing now, you guys, is we are popping all the bubbles, the little micro bubbles that appear when I was basically applying the epoxy, just kind of created some bubbles. So we're getting rid of all those micro bubbles. Even if you don't see them, guys, you still want a torch. You want to make sure they're gone, because you will be able to feel the texture. You can see how quickly I'm moving. All right, just like that. Now this bad boy will turn overnight. Oh, I love the hearts on the bottom. This is perfect. It's so beautiful. All right, so we're gonna let this sit overnight. Oh, the reason you guys use a torch instead of a heat gun. There's a lot of tutorials out there. I mean, I don't want to be braggy or anything, but I'm the best. The torch does something different than the heat gun. The flame of the torch creates CO2. The bubbles are oxygen. It's science, guys. Oxygen is attracted to CO2. So the CO2 actually pulls that bubble to the surface. It's not popping it because we're moving anything. Sorry, I saw one. It's popping it because the oxygen is coming towards the CO2 of the flame. The heat gun, it might pop bubbles, but that's only because you happen to move with the heat gun, the epoxy around, and it really happens to release the bubble. But if you really want to go after those little micro bubbles, you got to get brave and you got to use a torch. Our swag bags, this went out in our swag bags. This is a good starter set. Or if you don't have a torch, this is a good one. This went out in our, like I said, our swag bags this month. It's a little baby torch if you're scared of the flame, because I do know some of our members are a little terrified of fire. So, you know, that's a little ease into it. All right, guys, so we're going to jump off. We're going to let this cup roll, and we will see you at the next step.
All right, guys, it's all finished. She is beautiful. So remember all your tips and tricks about working with the collar of the glitter around the top, and then also remember your little tips and tricks about working with the metallic vinyl. And that's about all I got for you guys this time. This one came out absolutely gorgeous. You can see I'm already using it as my personal cup. I didn't take very long on that one. I thought it was so gorgeous I decided to keep it for myself. I did a little sneak peek on the bottom for my 3 little girls. I ended up adding that, my little triplets. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next tutorial. Bye, guys.